Oh, you can do. Okay. Here you go. And then you have to do full screen the next time. Are we up? We're down there.
Yep.
Do you want lighting or anything?
No, it's all right.
Okay. Then why do I have to kiss you?
Because you still do. Has to be team.
Good luck.
Good luck. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Factual Fridays. We are talking about the boss bee mentality, the boss bitch mentality. So, we kind of are heading back to where some of where I started with all of this.
So I still say that most of the world's problems has come down to the root of the way that women handle things. So I don't know. I kind of just threw together some stuff that I've seen over the past few months about this.
It's perfect. And I should be next Wednesday starting back with my old setup to where you can actually see me and there's more going on. Sorry about this. We ran out of streaming time on the one we were using. So we had to go back to this way through YouTube, but we're thinking of getting the year subscription so that we can have it constantly. So hopefully we'll be back to full on. It was a lot better setup. So
if anybody wants to donate so that we can have better streaming stuff, it's like $30 a month.
A month,
so
yeah.
Anything that you could do to help, we just check out the Patreon, or we could do a PayPal donation thing.
Yeah, just let us know. Comment, let us know, and we can set something up.
That would be great.
Yes.
But otherwise, we'll be back with you when we can, right? And still no baby.
Still no baby yet.
So we went through Halloween.
We're still waiting. No Halloween baby, which we were kind of hoping for.
So now we have Dios de los Muertos, which is the Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
But then after that, then it's just a normal baby.
It is. It's a November baby.
No.
Them.
And Guru wanted to remind everybody that it is No Nut November. And that it might be a very hard month for his friends. And that also I'm not allowed to eat almonds, apparently. Because
no nut.
Yeah. So anyway, there's that.
All right, now let's get into the boss bee mentality.
This first one is just going to basically show kind of like the outcome, in my opinion, of the boss bee mentality. Hyper-masculinized. Yeah,
this is Hidon. He's one of the ones I originally started with. We used to have a lot more through the Fiend gang. But, a lot of them have fallen off. And then, of course, Locke, the bounty hunter, Hidon, and Taylor are the main three that have stayed.
Yes. Hidon, I feel that he has a more balanced approach in favor of women. It feels like he is kind of like a little bit softer with that kind of stuff. I think he's also a little bit younger. I'm not sure.
I think so.
But he does talk more about like pair bonding and some scientific things and everything. So
yes.
I feel that he's just a little bit more mellow regarding women and the things that they do. But this first one, like, just drives me crazy. So, yeah.
All right.
Not this one, but the one that he covers after that. All right, I'm going to go back to my book.
Let's get on with this.
And I was like, first of all, sir, there is no roster, okay? I don't have a roster. I'm not really good at multitasking. And second of all, there's a line, all right? You got to wait your turn to get traumatized, all right? I can only ruin one man's life at a time.
If Jesus can't save these hoes, why are you trying?
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the desert. Glad to have you all here. Ampu is welcoming you. But gentlemen, in the fog of war, a tank approaches. Oh my, what do we have here, guys? Ton. Look at how she's looking at me, guys. She wants to have me for dinner. Well, you're not gonna have me, madam. I'm out here in my tomb. You're not gonna approach me. We're gonna fend you off, alright? We're gonna set a catapult to an inferno tower to keep you away. But gentlemen.
Alright, this is the one that everybody is going to love. Just watch her as she puts on her makeup and she talks about a thing or two. This one.
Yeah, it's really distracting. It's like the first time I saw it, I didn't really see it. I only heard it. And it was just like F-bomb after F-bomb. And
yeah.
I'm in my feminine era, so I don't want a guy that's in his feminine era. But F this and F that, and he ain't gonna. It's like, that is not feminine. That's not feminine.
No, it's the complete opposite.
Shut up. And the second time I watched it, I saw how much makeup she was putting on her face.
Yeah.
And this is the result of being raised by women that worked in the workforce.
Yes.
That you can have it all. And, you shouldn't accept anything less than the bare minimum. And I want to talk about that because I want to talk about what the bare minimum actually is for women.
That's
kind of astounding.
And that's a big topic on Locke's side.
Yeah.
The bare minimum.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Enough with the references. Doing a lot of Supercell references, to be honest. You may start to think that I'm like a 13-year-old boy. No, a 4,000-year-old mommy. Guys, enough about all that. Let's watch what this woman has to say, guys. And then for our article story, we're going to cover more, keeping in line with last video. Men being indecisive and bad in their approach to women. So let's get started.
There are some of the most feminine things men have done to me. Trend of I'm in my feminine era, but so is he. And like these men being little bitches is all over my For You page. So I was like, let me just tell you some of the things that I've been through with these feminine ass men. And don't you worry, I have my own take on the trend coming up. You'll see the screenshots in a minute. This first one is ingrained in my memory.
Okay. But before you continue, and this whole TikTok is men are too feminine nowadays. Before you make any sort of argument, I gotta tell you that you're being masculine, and not in the good way. You're shouting, you're cussing, dropping F-bombs, talking too loud, you're being argumentative and just aggressive, want to be dominant. It's disgusting. It's freaking disgusting for a man, right? If some man ever wants to consider you as a serious dating option, even though you probably weigh more than his whole family.
Yes, it's absolutely disgusting. The fact that, they cuss, they don't care about their weight, their appearance that way.
Love me as I am, or get the hell out.
Yes,
sort of thing.
Exactly, and it's
never seeking self-improvement or how they can be pleasing.
No.
To the opposite sex or whatever, they're whatever.
Yeah.
And like femininity worn on men doesn't look good.
No.
And masculinity worn on women doesn't look good.
No, it doesn't.
Masculinity in its true form is calm, it's stoic, it's quiet, and it's logical. But masculinity on us comes out hyper aggressive, loud, and obnoxious.
Exactly.
Every time.
It really does.
Sometimes it gets the job done, but it's not very appealing.
No.
You don't want to be around somebody like that very much.
No, you don't.
Really up to the second knee. But even if they decide to do that for some inexplicable reason, you're so argumentative and confrontative and aggressive and dominant. It's disgusting, all right? When will women understand that, guys? The whole reason we men like you is because of your femininity. If you're masculine, I don't get it. If men want masculine, they're gonna be gay. If they're not gay, it's because they feel attracted by feminine. Can you mention one thing feminine about this woman? Let's see. Maybe till the end of the TikTok we find something.
Memory, and just really had me questioning myself as a woman. This man told me, didn't ask me, told.
I mean, one thing feminine, I would say the makeup, even though I've seen guys do it too, put makeup on. So.
Yeah, and culturally, it started in our culture that men wore makeup before the women did.
Yeah.
Eye makeup and stuff. And then
Yes.
started, so yeah, I mean, I guess it could be. And now, like, look at AJ Sanchez. Look at how much makeup he wears.
Oh, I know.
Like,
yeah,
gorgeous,
but he's in his feminine.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So he's not really masculine.
No. So yeah, it is feminine.
Yeah.
told me that I should be the one ordering us Uber Eats because I make more money.
By the way, look her put, guys. Like 3 pounds of makeup on her face, right? Jeez. You can make like 10 toasts and want to put peanut butter or jelly on them, and you're gonna put less peanut butter on 10 toasts than amount of makeup she puts on her face. Jeez. But let's continue with what she was talking about.
More money. Someone set me over the edge because what the actual fuck do I?
And I just wanted to point out too, just watch the way that she looks from what she started with through until when she's done. This is why makeup is the lie in the female side.
Yeah, it's trickery. They don't use it to highlight their assets or to have anything sacred. It's just, it is total trickery.
It's very much trickery. I mean,
she's blotchy, she's got bad skin, she doesn't look healthy.
And then she looks so much better with that makeup on. And so what's that going to tell any guy? They're going to be like, okay, she looks pretty healthy. I mean, she might maybe have a little bit of weight, but for the most part, she looks healthy.
Right.
And that's a lie.
It's a lie.
She isn't healthy.
Do I look like actually 5150 me if I ever buy a man Uber Eats because he suggested that I do it because I make more money and this man's not even my boyfriend. I don't even like this man. I literally think I said to this man in that moment, like, oh my God, like you're in your feminine energy. Like you want me to spend a bag on you. Get the fuck out of my face. Get the fuck out of my face. This man is the same man that told me I should be cooking for him. I literally looked at him and I was like, when the fuck did I?
Oh my God, you're in your masculine. Get the.
No, you're in your feminine era. Because a lot of guys are going the soft. They're like trying to go the soft way to kind of stick it to the ladies. But it's like, what else are they supposed to do?
No, but I'm talking about her.
Oh.
I'm doing it back on her.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, oh, okay. Yeah, but it's like, yeah, she said that she doesn't want a feminine guy because she's in her feminine era. And, no.
Yeah.
She's not.
She's not at all.
Did I become Martha Stewart to you? Like, when the fuck did you think it was okay to tell a bitch who we're not even dating? We were just fucking. You know what? Barely at that. We were barely fucking because it wasn't.
I have a serious question. Who in this world has S3X with such a beast? Who does it? Is anyone watching right now attracted to this woman? Guys, I'm not gonna shame you. Just tell me. Hidan, I will smash. No wrong answers. Again, I'm not gonna shame you. I'm not gonna pin you in the wall of shame. Just tell me.
I mean, even just by look alone, you could not love this woman.
She looks like a cop or something.
Yeah, I mean, she looks like a dyke.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. And then it's like, so I'm supposed to, and then it's like, you want her to be feminine, and she's gone to that part, but the guy's like, I would like you to, like, cook for me or something, and she's like, well, I'm not Martha Stewart.
Yeah, she said that already.
And she's like, why should I do anything for a guy that can't even make me, finish?
That's when she went on to say, we're just effing. She was like, and barely at that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so nasty. They don't do that.
No, you don't.
Tell me. I would rather have S3X with... I cannot say that on YouTube, but... Guys, I'd rather go out of my tomb and have S3X with the first jackal I see, alright? Than with this beast on screen. Hell, guys. But that's not the point. The point is, notice how angry and bitter she gets when you expect something of her. When you expect her to be feminine and to be nurturing and, hey, can you cook for me? Oh, who do you think I am, Martha Stewart? No, get out of here. But when they expect out of you to be a traditional man taken from like the 16th century, there's no problem with that, right? Double standard, guys, is just indescribable.
Good. How are you going to look me in the eye and tell me I should be cooking for you when you can't even make me come? Don't get me wrong. I will cook all day for a man that is my boyfriend. I will throw it down in the fucking kitchen.
Yeah, no.
It just gives me that gives me the ick. I mean, just hear women talk like that, it just hits me so wrong.
Of course it does. Because they should not talk like that.
It's like the women that disrespect their husbands either on video or out in public. It's like,
You know, it's just like the same thing. It's like they're like, well, some guys talk like that, so what does it matter if we do?
that's the point.
And it's like, well, yeah, okay, guys talking like that, and then you talking like that, but one is the same freaking thing.
Right. It's not.
You
right.
sound the same.
Right.
You're not supposed to do it regardless,
Right.
and you sound the same.
Like, yeah, I have to agree. The locker room talk thing, if boys will be boys, that whole nonsense. It's like, it doesn't have to be that way.
No, it doesn't.
Be respectful.
You can.
You don't have to one-up each other. You don't have to talk about your freaking intimate details. You
Yeah.
know, it's like, that's a sacred thing. And it should be honored as such. But
Very
even
much
if
so.
She did, then she's just proving the point that she's not in her feminine. That she's
Yes.
acting like a freaking locker job.
Nice.
Yeah, sure. I always love these people that say, "No, if I try, I'm gonna be the best wife ever." No, don't think that I'm happy just because every aspect of my life tells you that I'm the biggest red flag possible. No, I could be the best wife. I just don't want to. You're not even my boyfriend, right? They always say this. Never trust them. Show me. Don't tell me. Show me. Show me how you can be anything other than disgusting, and I'll believe you.
Not a man who I really didn't even fuck with. But the audacity for that little princess to say that to me, I like lost my mind. I was like, you need to get the fuck out of my face. Like, we will never be anything more than enemies at this point. This is one of my favorites. We were laid up in bed and this man asked me for influencer tips. But I'm sorry, picture this. You're laid up in a bed with a man that you really like. You really like this fucker. And he looks you dead in the eyes and is like, what hashtags do you use on your TikTok? I was like, what the actual fuck? And I told him, I was like, no, I don't mix business and pleasure. Like, if you want to be an influencer, like, go do your thing, but like, I'm not gonna mix that. I'm not mixing that. Like,
business, guys, business. I work. You ask her what she's doing, and she tells you, "I'm just working on my business." And then later on, you find out that her business is making stupid TikToks. All right, just the cringiest other crap that you can find on the internet. That is her business, guys. Then people ask me, "Oh, but why do you never trust women when they say that they are entrepreneurs or they have their business, they are self-employed?"
Okay, go ahead. You were saying?
Because of this. Because every time they say, I'm an entrepreneur, I manage businesses. They manage like 2 TikTok accounts with 2,000 followers. One of them posts like nail advertisement for their girly Becky, and the other one is just spewing crap about men.
oh my god, I would never want to be an influencer. I would like actually fucking hate that. Why are you asking me for hashtags? Why are you asking me what hashtags works best and what time of day you should be posting? Get the fuck out of my face. Guess who is now actively an inspiring influencer?
Guys, she just keeps going with the makeup. I'm sorry to pause it. It's just baffling. She keeps adding on and adding on. If you have nails and you scratch her face, you're going to get like 3 inches of makeup on your hands. Jeez.
My first relationship, if I ever wanted to go on a date or like go to dinner or anything, I had to pay. Oh, and I did. I was 16 and I was that man's boyfriend. I literally was his boyfriend. I took care of everything. Baby, give me the bills. I'm going to take care of them. I hate it here. Recently, actually called me a bitch, told me to fuck off, and then made fun of my job. Listen, the only
Go ahead.
And then you set yourself up for a lifetime. And then it's just pure martyrdom. You know, my mother used to. It's like, I'm raising 2 different families. I'm paying the bills, and I don't have any time to go out. And it's like, well, who set that standard?
He's like a second kid to me.
Yeah, right. Well, you know, it's like...
Who made it that way?
You said it that way,
yeah.
Right? And that's where we're going to tie into the weaponized incompetence nonsense that they have going on. Because the women set that tone. It's like they let this stuff happen over and over and over.
Yes.
And then act like they're martyrs for it.
Well, of course.
You know? And
Did you?
You know, and it's like that's just it's like so dumb. It's like I mean, if I was going on a date and I've done this to you in the past, it's like if you asked me to go out with you, I don't even bring money.
Well,
So it's like.
Well, yeah, and we talked about it. Like, certain circumstances, for the most part, if the guy asks for the women to come, then I would expect the guy to pay.
Yeah, like I'm talking about like when we went to like That's Italian, when you asked me for some place to go to like for like Valentine's Day or something like that. When we were younger and we were like, do you want to go get something to eat together? You know, just kind of like come together on that. It was like then either I would pay one time, you paid at a time, or we'd split it. Or, you know, one of us would get the tip. We still kind of do that sometimes.
Yeah.
One of us will leave the tip and the other one will pay the bill. You know, it's like, you know,
Yeah.
circumstantial.
Depending on what it is, yeah.
But there, I've seen women ask men to go take them someplace. That place is not good enough, so they ask him to take him to a more expensive place, and then he's still expected to pay.
Well, exactly. They think that the guy, no matter what, should pay.
Yeah.
And that, honest to God, depends on what you bring to the table yourself.
Right, and like I said, I don't believe if it's a date that the woman should be asking.
No.
But if she does, then she should pay it. So.
Yeah.
And then, so the guy asking her to pay for his DoorDash or whatever it was, it's not so far out of league when it's like sometimes women act like, oh, that makes me feel needed, that makes me feel important.
Well, yeah, it does. They say they want this, what do you call it? They want the equality.
Right.
But yet they don't want that.
Right. No.
They don't want to be asked to pay.
No. It's like we cannot have it both ways. I'm like, either that makes you feel proud and good because you're needed, or
yes.
you know that it doesn't feel right. You know,
exactly. And I mean, there's the roles of the female and then there's the roles of the male.
Mm-hmm.
They've been the same for quite a while now, but yet the female wants more things.
Right.
It's like, well, no, I mean, that's not all the female should get.
Right.
And it's like, well, it's been that way.
It's like, really, it's like you shouldn't be working yourself to the bone to be able to have to do those things. It's like you should work if you want to work.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Something that's rewarding and creative. And if you do something that's rewarding and creative, you'll get money for it. You know?
Yes.
So, and then that can go to whatever you want it to go to.
Exactly.
People that can call me a bitch in this lifetime are my fucking sisters, and they can barely do that. When I read bitch on the screen, I was like, hold on, like somebody hold my hoops. Like, does this bitch want to fight me? Like, does this man want to fight me? Like, bitch is fighting words. Bitch is fighting words. Those are just the men and their feminine energy that I have unfortunately dealt with in the past. I must have been on fucking drugs because.
And I mean, what is that? Those are fighting words. A female's not supposed to thinking that way.
No, it does happen, but you know, it's like if now, while I'm in an actual feminine era, if somebody says something that's disagreeable to me, if that's what they want to call me, then that's just where I'm gonna let it lie.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not gonna fight you on that. If that's what you think, then that's what you think.
Well, and it's like even here, we've got some women that they think that they've got the galls to get in the face of a guy.
I know.
But then if a guy does it back, heaven forbid. You know, then their boyfriend or whatever's coming over and, well, why the hell did you get in the face of a woman? Your guy doesn't do that. Why did you? And it was like, well, yeah, figure out with your woman what's really going on.
Yeah, a real man will put her back in her place. Be like, excuse me. It's just like our neighbor. You
yeah.
know, she's an elderly woman. She has the nerve to come out at you and tell you how to live your life. You know?
Exactly.
But the minute that you put your foot down and say, you're acting like a fool. I'm not going to placate you in your idiocy. Oh, you're being mean. Why can't you just be nice? I've been nice. Why can't you be nice? You're so rude.
Yeah, exactly.
You're such a horrible neighbor.
Know that well.
Know, it's like, who are you to do this? But see, she's never been able to keep a relationship.
Nope. It's the entitlement.
And then she told me stories after stories from when she was younger. Somebody stood her up at a Tom Petty concert and moved to Canada. She was supposed to go with them, and they left her behind. I mean, that tells you.
I wonder why.
Exactly, man.
She's probably acting the same way that she does now.
And she's almost 80 years
old.
And she's still doing that. You know, it's like I was.
Or she's moving, so.
Eventually.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, you know, same thing down here. Same thing with Joanne and the road.
Yep.
You know, they're just like.
I know.
Mouthy, masculine women, and they're miserable for it.
They are.
You know?
And it's ridiculous.
It's not worth it.
No.
It's like, just whatever. You know, if that's the way you feel, then leave
yes.
it alone.
It low-key is really embarrassing.
Okay, don't worry, guys. It ended. I know you were reaching out towards the bottle of pills to end it once and forever, to end the misery, the pain, but it ended.
All right. Yeah, please take a look at her makeup now. From what we saw.
Blotchy red, open sores. If there are any ladies listening to this, it's like, you know what? You need aeration to your face. And
Yes.
the best makeup is like no makeup. It's like your skin will even out, your pores will shrink. You can do your eyes and you can do your lips. There's not a lot of need to put any other foundation on your face. Just let it be. That's a feminine skill.
Exactly. Okay, that is her face, though. It is ridiculous. I mean, that is a lie. That is a flat out lie.
That's trickery.
It is.
That's true witchcraft. That's a lie.
Very much so. That's a lie. All right, so now that's that one, the main one that we wanted to see on there. So we're gonna move on to the next one.
So that's what it does to you. That's the kind of mentality of the boss bee.
Yes.
I do everything myself. You know, that is what it does to you.
Unpopular opinion, boss bitch mentality is at this trend has gained popularity, but in order to do that, we will explore its shortcomings and advocate for kindness over the superficial appeal of assertiveness. If you don't know what a boss bitch is, no offense to strong, independent women all around the world, but she is kind of a strong, independent woman. For some, the boss bitch has become a symbol of empowerment. We also discover its flaws when diving deeper into this persona. Let's see. A boss bitch is focused on material success. She chases money and power. To her, financial gains and career milestones are the primary achievement.
Women aren't supposed to chase material things. They're just supposed to accept them, you know, and our focus is supposed to be on nurturing family and holding the family unit together. You know, so when you start focusing on achieving those material things, masculinity seeps in and it starts to corrode away at all of your natural femininity, and it takes you outside that normal cycle. And they're just miserable.
They are. They're very miserable. We've seen so many of them.
Right. You know, even the movie G.I. Jane.
Yeah.
You know, there was a couple of higher up women. You could tell that they were just hard asses. And when she started to do her military training and everything, her husband didn't like it, and he tried to reject her, and she's like, well, you know, get your dick back in this tub and all this stuff, and he was just appalled by that. He was just like disgusted, you know.
Exactly.
And then even down to what she says at the very end, you know, suck my dick, you know.
Yes.
Great line, great movie, but it kind of was in that whole boss bee era, you know, where men can do anything that men can do.
Where they're trying to take over even the military.
Yeah, right. And it's
because, well, they can do it.
Right. And it's like,
well, maybe they're not supposed to.
I mean, yeah, it's like what, 6 pounds of pressure to pull to fire a gun.
Yeah.
But that's not all that the military is. There's a lot of mental, emotional, rigorous strain that goes into it. We're just not made for that on the long term.
I know, we're not.
You know, well, you are.
I mean, we are, but you guys are not.
Right,
yeah.
Right. Well, maybe we aren't in general. Okay.
Achievements. Sometimes this singular focus overshadows the values of a fulfilling life. The pursuit of material prosperity is not wrong if combined with meaningful connection. The problem is when it becomes a sole purpose. Then it is shallow and devoid of other significant aspects of human existence. Financial gains and climbing the corporate ladder may disconnect anyone from the real satisfaction.
Okay, and, you know, it falls under the same thing as what with the guys that become the boss criteria, and they're losing time with their family. And the guy's role has shown that for generations. It has been. But now, if that goes on with a woman who has a family, who has kids, it's going to be much more crucial within those kids' life with her losing that time.
Right. I mean, I don't like the corporate world either way for that reason.
Yes.
So they overwork people and they underutilize, like they just use people, and it does take both people out of the relationship and out of the
it does. It really does.
Family unit. But yeah, it is much more noticeable, I feel, when women are not present, and that's been kind of proven with our generation, the way we grew up.
Yes.
The 90s really had a lot of the boss bees.
Yeah,
and
it has.
We had daycares come into play.
Oh my God, yeah, the daycares really blossomed because of that.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. It does seem like it does have like more of a psychological impact on the family when the mother's missing more.
It really does.
For thousands of years, we've been programmed to not really miss the absence of our fathers for chunks of time.
Yeah.
Because they would go away for 3 months or so to go hunting and come back,
Yes.
But also within that point, when they did come back, they were part of a family unit. And they did help literally build the house and plant crops and work with the children and teach them and stuff. So they were a little bit more involved that way. But I think that we are biologically designed to not really miss the absence of our fathers as much as our mothers.
Yeah, that's very true. You are.
It's like, just like from a biological level.
Yeah, for sure.
Satisfaction work can give. Making money is often prioritized over healthy relationships, fulfilling experiences, and personal growth. But happiness is never synonymous with acquiring possessions. Pursuing wealth may lead to chasing more and never feeling like it's enough. A boss bitch might even consider only external recognition. When you cultivate the need for validation only from sources outside yourself, this results in low self-esteem. External validation is temporary and unpredictable. It shouldn't matter, since control over external opinions is limited. Individuals who rely on it also tend to neglect self-acceptance. On the other hand, an open-hearted, soft soul knows that true fulfillment goes way beyond material success. It is a consequence of self-discovery. It is also a joy derived from helping others. Indeed, material possessions matter, but they are not prioritized over important aspects like emotional well-being and authentic relationships. It's okay to try your best as a woman. It's normal to be competent, doing things right, and so on. But this trend is a take-no-prisoners mentality. It advocates only the relentless pursuit of personal goals at the expense of others. Meanwhile, the pursuit of genuine success is
so like working in the racehorse industry in particular, since it was male-dominated, it's like I had this drive to not only be able to match what the men could do, but do it better. Yeah. And I would step on anybody that I could to get to where I needed to be. I did not care, and it was like, now looking back, it's like, how could you do that not only to the people, but to the animals that you worked with? How could you push them so hard?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, honest to God, women are more likely to get killed by this happening than guys.
Right.
Because guys, men just work out this thing where it's like, okay, we're going to fight, or I'm going to punch you, or we're going to settle it somehow. Guys don't know how to do that with women. They're like, how do we settle this? So they'll poison them. Right. They'll hire somebody to kill them so that they don't have to deal with them anymore.
It's a cutthroat industry.
Yeah.
And I think most of the damage is done to ourselves. I felt like a lot of the guys that I worked with just ignored me no matter how loud I got, so it was just like, that just bugged me more, because it was like, are you not seeing this?
Exactly.
But looking back, it's like, well, that's why. I'm like, it was just like, I was disregarded because it's just disgusting to them.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, they don't know how else to go about it.
Right. So just like, ignore you.
Yeah, like I said, the guy, they've got their ways.
Oh my God, yeah. Like,
they know what to do.
Like
the girl, they can't punch them, they can't touch them.
Right.
I mean, any little thing is becoming harassment now.
Right. And I can't even imagine on the backstretch now.
Yeah.
So it's like, because like you know as well as I do that we saw exercise riders and jockeys just get into it, just
fight.
And it was like, but then the very next day they're out there having drinks, and they're talking, and it's just like it was handled.
Exactly.
But women, like, they hold grudges.
Oh God, yeah.
Especially
since you don't know when they're on their periods, you don't know
exactly
what cycle they're on, when it's gonna be, who else is gonna be on that cycle. If there's other women, I mean, there's so many factors.
Right, and I watched that industry chew up and spit out so many women jockeys. I mean, one of them that was a top earning writer. She was such a bitch. She was so mean. She ended up being homeless and on drugs.
Yeah, no, we saw that.
I was just.
I forgot where we saw it, but I think it was on like some intervention.
It was a news thing or something. Yeah, I can't remember, but yeah, it was like I couldn't believe it. It was like they chewed her up and spit her out, And the other guys, the other jockeys that get to that point, they still stick around the racetrack. They're there till they're like 70 years old. They'll just go change jobs. They'll either become valets or exercise riders, or assistant trainers. They can transition. But she put everything into being that top earning jockey.
Yep.
And lost it all.
And women will break down a lot easier. Not trying to say too much on this, but they'll break down a lot easier than males.
Yeah, we're not made for that long grind.
Yes.
We're not made for that. We're made for short spurts of super intense pain and discomfort. Yeah. And you guys are designed to handle like that heavier, laborious load.
Exactly.
We're not made for that. I don't care what they say. It's like I've never seen a woman in any industry, including nursing, be able to be in it for very long without having some sort of mental breakdown or physical breakdown.
Yes.
Complain all the time, just miserable.
Yeah.
For
sure.
It's not our arena.
No.
Okay, good.
Only fulfilling when achieved through the cultivation of kindness and compassion. What happened to integrity? One finds no meaning without it, no matter how much you wish to succeed. Real empowerment and strength comes from staying faithful to ethical standards, even when facing challenges and temptations. Most times, a boss bitch will choose independence over connection. Truth is, that kind of independence equals loneliness. Focusing on individual success leads to isolation. It creates distance from any meaningful connection. It is a lonely path, not only due to the constant strife for dominance. A boss bitch celebrates a bold and unapologetic approach to life. She thrives on competitive edge. This mentality pushes her to outshine, outsmart, and outmaneuver her peers, being ultra-competitive to other women. She also competes with men in traditionally male-dominated spaces. Such ambition may be perceived as threatening and labeled too masculine. Sometimes she will be tempted to trade authentic intimacy for casual encounters. A boss bitch will think she is empowered if she has casual sex with everyone and never needs a man for anything, except maybe sex. In turn, those who stick to traditional gender bias will perceive a boss bitch as promiscuous and lacking self-respect. They might even misinterpret her professional success and confidence, making harmful assumptions about her character that can influence a woman's ability to find potential partners for a committed traditional relationship. Most of the time, masculine men avoid long-term relationships with this type of woman, not because of her confidence, but because of her behavior. To put it plainly, strong, independent women are mistaken when applying their work attitude to their dating lives. When facing this approach, men feel distant, but not because they cannot handle a successful woman. Actually, men are drawn to kindness, playfulness, and warmth, which are traditionally feminine traits. They also find confidence appealing. The problem is when someone brings their emotional luggage into their dating lives. Men dislike behaviors like being criticized or judged. They also avoid controlling women and those who talk to them in a condescending manner. A boss bitch uses all of these so-called strategies to be successful at work. She doesn't realize that in a dating setting, the same attitude will drive most of the masculine men away. Here's a hard truth. Men are turned off by women who act like they don't need anyone. It's the same when a woman brags or when...
So I've noticed that, guys can go to work and they can be around oil field workers or working in an office or doing whatever they need to do and then just come home and let that go.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the job.
Exactly.
Now I'm home.
Yes.
but most often women carry that over,
and then that affects their relationship with their husbands
if they have children, and
if they have children. Yeah, it affects everything.
because I remember that, like, with my own mother, she'd come home from the hospital and just complain about all these things that happened during her shift, and just like lay all those burdens out. But like when my stepfather came home from work, he didn't really talk about it at all.
See?
Except sometimes maybe to glorify how well he did that night. But
Oh, that's a guy for you, though.
But and my mother hated it. She was like, oh my gosh, like he thinks he's so much better than me. It's like he's only been an LVN for a couple of years, and I've been an RN for almost 20 years, and it's like he thinks he's just so much better than I am. And
I mean,
but I'm like, you've got to fluff the ego sometimes. Maybe he was saying that so that she would actually compliment him, because she never did.
Exactly. See, that's a big thing.
Like maybe it's like he wants her to be proud.
If a guy starts seeing that boss bee mentality, and he just starts seeing the same pattern, he's gonna quit trying.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I don't like when you fish for compliments, but I understand it, because you just like, that's how guys work. It's like, okay, well, I'm doing good, right? It's like
we run off of those.
Need a little bit of encouragement.
Yeah.
But boss bees see that as like a threat. Like,
well, of course they do, because why does he have to do that? Why? I mean, that's to do it.
I don't do this. I mean, and I can still tell you about those sorts of things. It's like but. Say you're doing well, and thank you, I appreciate you.
Exactly, you do.
That. She never did that. It was always a competition. It's like, who the hell?
Well, because it has to be, because that's like the way that the male conceives most of their working environment and the way that they do it.
Yeah. So
the female just turned that over and said, okay, we have to do the same things instead of making it their own.
Right, like I said, guys in general, aside from that, I don't hear them talk about too much of their work life.
No,
it's like they
because they know when to stop,
and they're sure of their self-worth.
Yeah.
It's like what you did at work. You know that you don't have to come back and complain about it, or
exactly.
And if you do have to complain about it, there should be a woman there that's ready to listen and be like, well, that really blows.
Exactly.
I'm sorry that it happened, because I don't see you that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, not the boss bees. No, it's a competition.
Yeah, it's completely different.
Yeah, it's not nice.
No, it's not.
When she is always telling him what to do, constant nagging and arguing won't win a man's heart. Unfortunately, a strong, independent woman will feel entitled to this behavior when dating. She feels this way precisely because she knows the sacrifices she made to be able to make it on her own. To some degree, the pursuit of a man seems trivial to her. However, the absence of a loving partner will leave anyone feeling incomplete. The most important thing is missing, and that is the joy of building a shared future. Pause the video and think about it for a while. Who would you be without any authentic connections? That is how it feels to be alone in the world. Sometimes the reluctance towards the prospect of motherhood might make a boss bitch incompatible as a partner. It becomes an endless vicious circle, because at least 3 aspects can trigger such reluctance. First, there's the fear of compromising independence. Second, the focus on personal achievements. Third, the differences in mindset make it hard to find a partner that aligns with her lifestyle, desires, and ambitions. By comparison, embracing your femininity as a woman means to be vulnerable. It means to agree and believe that kindness is not a sign of weakness.
Yes.
Feminine women appreciate and choose an authentic relationship and place it above other shallow.
I was finally, when I started coming around to learning feminine teachings, it was, number one, be pleasing in every way that you can, like to anybody around you, men, women, whatever. Be pleasing to be around, to listen to look at.
Yeah.
Just be a pleasing person. And then, I think I just forgot the second one. What are they talking about here?
It was the what do you call it? The mentalities.
I know, but what was it exactly?
Hold on. Go back slightly.
Because it's what started, and I wanted to start the first thing.
means to be vulnerable. It means to agree and believe that kindness is not a sign of weakness.
yeah.
Feminine women appreciate and choose an authentic relationship.
So to be a lotus petal on the outside and to be iron on the inside, to be able to quietly withstand a bunch of shit, but still appear to be soft, like soft, velvety lotus petal on the outside, but strong as iron within.
Yes.
So not hot iron on the outside and mushiness on the inside where you're going to break down, but the appearance.
Exactly.
And you don't let that down. It's like this is probably the most masculine you will hear me on any of our streams.
Yeah.
And I held myself to a high standard that I don't like to cuss a lot.
Well, no, and it's just like the one we watched originally.
Right.
All the cussing, all the, they have to hold that iron status at all points.
Instead of having it be a quiet resilience within.
Yes.
And know that you need to stand up and fight for your family and for your husband when you need to.
Yeah.
But they're just always like on and aggressive. But yeah, the vulnerability and the faith is what sets femininity apart from masculinity.
Yes. But, because women need to be able to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And the boss bee won't.
Yes, an archetype. I guess what I'm trying to say, the boss bee archetype. It's like a whole group subsection. And the other thing is, like I said, disrespecting your husband in public. Like, there's women that I've seen that won't say anything in their private lives, and then as soon as they're out, they poke fun at their husbands.
Of course.
And I mean, I used to do that to you too, and especially in the dating phases and everything, because I was raised to be a boss bee.
Yeah.
I had that mentality that you will make it no matter what, and it was like that was a way to tear down your character so that it made me look better.
Exactly.
I'm the one that's in control. Oh my gosh, look how stupid he is. He can't even do that. No, you don't. So when I was reading these ancient texts and everything, it's like you don't do that. You don't disrespect your husband in public.
Yes.
It's like you reprimand and you deal with things privately within your own home and everything.
Yeah.
And so I feel that way when, like when you and I are on the live, I try not to be disrespectful and say things that are hurtful. And it's like, I try not to do that in general. But it's just like, even if he's wrong, you just kind of have to take that with a grain of salt and just like discuss it later.
Yeah, you should, yes.
But that it seems like the boss bee thing to do is just to go after them and tear them down.
Of course, yeah.
Like in public, it's a sign of dominance.
Even a guy shouldn't do that to his wife.
No, nobody should be disrespecting in public. It should be
if you have an issue, deal with it.
Yeah, you come home and you're like, hey, earlier you said something and it just like, it really set me weird. And it's like, I just want to remind you, you bring it up in conversation that way.
That's part of what they would call the toxic masculinity.
Right. Same kind of thing. Just kind of like tearing somebody down just to make yourself look like you're. But sometimes, I mean, it's like we do need to be checked in public because if you didn't like, if I didn't, I automatically look to you to see if I'm going too far. It's like, because it's like
we've got a couple examples of that.
We have, we have tempers, and we do need to be checked. But it's like it should be done in a quiet, loving way. You don't even have to say anything. I can just tell by the look on your face. And yes, that's masculinity, though. It's like you just like know, and you can check them without causing a scene.
Exactly.
But yeah, same kind of thing. It's like if you're tearing somebody down in public in front of your friends, even if it's at a party or something, it's like that's not cool. That's not.
No, it's like, not at all.
You come home and discuss that.
Exactly.
Relationship and place it above other shallow connections. They also know how to be resilient through adversity. The kind-hearted woman draws strength from all her supportive connections. She feels comfortable accepting help. That is why she is much more appealing to a masculine man who wants to feel useful and be helpful. Here's another question. Does women sticking up for each other also sound like some sci-fi fantasy? Sometimes women are expected to hate each other. It's quite common even in the workplace. For example, some expect women to hate each other so much that they can't conceive of.
That's one of the bigger things, like the male-to-male relationship in the workplace. you know, for the most part, they'll get along. I mean, they might hate each other and they'll talk shit behind each other's backs and whatnot. Be like, whatever. It's
never to the degree that I've ever heard women do it.
no,
Ever.
women. It's just like
Ever.
what you hear at the schools nowadays.
It's the same shit. Yeah.
It's so catty. It's like
holding grudges, man.
yes.
Like, oh man, it is a game.
It
women.
is.
I mean,
yeah.
that shit will last years.
Oh yeah, well,
you know, and it'd be this creating fake profiles to troll them and to spy on them.
That's where a lot of the catfish come from.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, I started this because I was like actually trolling this girl, and then I turned into something else. You know?
Yeah,
and it's like,
exactly.
Guys, like, God, they like, yeah, because they might come home from a super hard day, complain about that, and be like, hey, this asshole at work just did this shit, and it's like, I can't stand him.
Yeah.
But you guys just kind of let that go, and you know that stuff is gonna work itself out.
Yeah.
You know.
It's like I've heard.
Not the girls, man.
I've heard ones where they were doing the catfishing, and it came out, and the woman's like, "Well, yeah, I tried to get him and keep him because, you know, like when we were 7, you talked to Jimmy who just dumped me."
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, you will see this within the gay community as well.
Yeah.
Like if you gay guys will do the exact same thing. And
exactly.
It'll last years with them just getting information and laying in wait and subtly making your life a living hell.
Exactly.
You know? It's like, I don't think you guys have time for that.
No.
You know? So, yeah, I don't know. We are programmed to distrust one another. You know, women are programmed to distrust one another. And I can't for sure honestly say that I can disagree with that because I don't have very many female friends or acquaintances. You know, I don't trust them. Most of them have that boss bee mentality.
That's the problem. You know? That's why you don't.
So it's like, it's just easier for me to just like get along with animals, you know, but I think that's more of a personal thing.
Or us.
Yeah, and I've always gone along with guys more. You know, like even still, like I watch the guys' channels more because it's straight to the point. It's no fluff.
Yeah.
It's not so loud and abrasive to my ears. It just makes sense.
Exactly.
You know, but the girls, as you'll see, it's like they got this tone and they've got these hand gestures and
yes,
it's like I can't, you know. But yeah, we don't trust each other, and right from school days, they pit you against each other.
Oh yeah,
and
they will.
Yeah, I've never found a community among women. I mean, when I was doing rodeos and gymkhanas,
I know even them they turned.
Yeah, no, it's like I couldn't, you know.
Yeah.
They hurt me really bad. They did really bad things.
They did. I know. You told me a lot of it.
Yeah. Again, that's what I mean by lasting years.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like I thought that we were friends, and then it's like, oh my gosh, you were like keeping track of me. You were keeping track of everything that I did that far back, and you're going to use it against me now.
They're like, oh, that's cute.
You know, I told them stuff in confidence that when I was having a bad day or having mental issues or whatever, and then they used it against me later on.
They will. Yes.
Like, so yeah, I think the Western society in particular has conditioned us to just be competitive with each other first and foremost.
God, yeah.
Because we don't dress for you. We dress to impress each other or to one-up each other.
Yeah, that happens a lot on the women's side.
We learn how to do our makeup to one-up each other.
The guys are only interested in the girls' look.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
It's like
the way it should be. The other side.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's like first teaching a best, be pleasing to look at, and it's like, you know, and we should be doing it for the opposite sex first and foremost.
Exactly.
Not to compete with each other.
For your spouse, yeah.
Right, but it is that way. It's just it's all competition in the girls' world. It's like
it's bad, yeah.
The movie Mean Girls is pretty well spot on.
Yeah.
Girl world is not the same as regular world.
Exactly.
of girls talking at work or outside of it. While the competitive approach may yield short-term gains, it risks breeding a toxic environment that erodes relationships and undermines the potential for genuine collaboration and support. The worst part is that you see this normalized in the media so frequently, and you actually start questioning values like embracing a kind-hearted soul, recognizing the power of empathy, understanding, and cooperation. To a boss bitch, these are all overrated. Unfortunately, this path leads to more stress and eventually burnout. By contrast, a kind-hearted individual will possess a lot of emotional intelligence, which helps navigate complex social situations and contributes to a positive society. A person focused on generosity will understand that humanity needs connection to thrive. When combined, things like gratitude practice, acts of kindness, and compassion have a ripple effect. By living in isolation and with an individualistic mindset, a boss bitch misses the opportunity of a nurturing environment. There's also a pressure to maintain a flawless appearance and meet unrealistic standards. You see it all on social media channels, and it's obvious. Being a boss bitch that does it all by herself can eventually take a toll on mental and physical well-being. Of course, any woman deserves to feel empowered through her resilience, capability, and confidence. The real problem with the boss bitch mentality is that it is just pretending to empower women. It makes them work more and chase the wealth and power illusion while leaving them isolated and unfulfilled as feminine archetypes. In the grand scheme of things, the strength derived from having a kind-hearted soul, contributing to society, and embracing a rich emotional life is far more empowering. Next time, when you feel tempted to tell yourself things like, "I can do it all alone," or "I've got this," pause for a second and ask yourself this: how does changing your own light bulbs or building a fence by yourself have a positive impact on the collective well-being of society? Women are getting the short straw here. Not only do boss bitches have to agree that men can obtain intimacy free from any commitment from them, a boss bitch must also achieve all these ridiculous external markers of success, such as wealth, power, and status, all by herself. This just doesn't seem fair. In a good world, both men and women have to contribute to society and work together, not against each other. I mentioned earlier that without an authentic connection, you risk missing out on the joy of building a future and struggle.
But you can see that a good chunk of the politics and everything out there, not just society as a whole, but even the very politics that run our country, they're pitting man against woman, husband against wife.
Yes.
Remember that commercial we saw for the voting? And it's like...
Yeah, the Republican.
No, it was Democrat.
Democrat, yeah.
Because it was like he was like, supposed to be this overbearing husband, and then she goes and votes, and she's looking at that other female. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna do this,
And then comes out, oh, who'd you vote for?
Did you vote the right way? And
yeah,
I sure did. So they're advocating for secrecy and to pit each other against. So it's like we're fighting against that in all aspects.
Yeah.
Whether it's societal, political.
Oh yeah.
Within the family unit, within work units, it's like they're doing that on purpose because
exactly.
When you have families that are broken or you don't have families that develop at all, it's very easy for a government to come in and control those people.
And that's what they're very close to doing.
Right. So, the nuclear families are, you got, again, child-free by choice.
Oh my God, yeah. They are taking over.
Trans, gay agendas, all of these very selfish, singular things. And now boss bees and men going their own way, that whole movement. The passport bros, it's like, well, at least they're still hooking up. They're going to have marriages and stuff. So
the passport bros is the opposite.
But it's not doing any good for Western society.
No.
So, of course, so that's very easy. Like, if a woman doesn't have a man, it's easy for the government to come in and supplement what that man could do for her financially, whatever. And same thing for men seeking women. The government will step in and make up for that somewhere.
Oh, God, they will, yeah.
And then they will control you.
Yeah.
This is a good one. That's pretty good.
Yeah, this one's really good. It's almost over, too.
Struggling with loneliness and anxiety, but there is an extremely powerful way to change things for the better. Find out now from our video on how to improve relationships.
Yeah, that was a really good one.
That was.
We've all seen the stereotype of the overbearing queen bee boss who makes everyone else's life miserable. It may seem like a tired trope, but some women do feel.
Honestly, you could probably skip this one. This one's just kind of talking about how even women don't want to have a female boss, and it kind of comes down to that competition factor that we talked about.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, the competition and the fact that they're much worse.
When I see a female cop,
Yeah,
I know it's going to be a problem.
animal control officer.
Yeah, animal control officers. I know it's going to be a problem. I have never had a problem with the men.
No.
I have always had a problem with the women.
Yes.
You know, so it's like my stomach turns when I see there's a woman in authoritative position that I have to deal with.
Exactly.
You know, the judges that I've dealt with.
Oh my God, yes.
The judges are assholes out here anyway, but the women, much, much worse.
I got a male that was.
He was in his feminine then. But yeah, so basically, yeah, we just don't trust each other.
No.
What are you doing?
Okay, what do we got next?
My computer's crashing. This is coming right from
one of the most
women,
consistently like crazy making things to me is how
minutes,
in every single area of their life men really want to have their cake and eat it too. All the freedom with none of the responsibility. So many things here that I really don't want to go unnoticed. Okay, starting with tip for women. I love this because everything he says after the sentence is exactly
good to see you.
Why women should never be taking tips from men. First of all, have a little self-awareness. Can't seriously say tip for women and then go ahead and describe like 7 different ways in which men are absolutely, completely useless. Why are you giving us tips? You are useless. I do not need tips from you, let alone any other woman. The second line is, most of us men really want to help, but don't know how. So one of those things has to be untrue. This sentence is a contradiction. If you really wanted to help, then you would figure out how. And if you don't know how to help, that means you don't really want to help. I don't even know if I need to say more than that. Let me think. No, I really don't. You can't say this with a straight face. You're lying about one of these 2 things. You're a liar. There's a reason that the phrase, if he wanted to, he would, exists. And that's because men consistently demonstrate this one thing, that if they wanted to, they would. But women demonstrate this too, except for it's actually expected of them. And it's actually a really normal thing to expect from other human beings. Like when they say they want to do something and then they don't do it, it's because they didn't actually want to. Then he says, give us a list. And now this is really the wanting to have your cake and eat it too part, because a lot of men like to be seen as the head of the household, the leader, the provider. Well, you know who doesn't need a fucking list is the actual head of the household, the leader, the provider. He or she does not need a list. So either you are a head of...
Wow, that he or she does not need a list, the head of the household. And that's not always true. Sometimes you just need a list. It doesn't matter if you're male or female.
Yeah.
The list helps organize your thoughts and keep things.
And maybe like start off with the list.
Yeah.
And then you do it enough that you don't need the list.
Exactly.
But nobody wants to go through the mothering or the training process.
I know.
You'll hear that all the time. He told me, it's like, oh, I'm not his mother. You know, I'm not expected to do that. It's like, but you are the matriarch of your household.
Yes.
And sometimes that means it's like, you know this household more than anybody else.
Yes.
You know, many guys, they do feel like they get in the way, or they just don't know what or how to do the things that need to be done. Yet you have to mother them through that. You have to train them through that. You know,
the female is truly the backbone of the family, regardless of what it looks like. It might look like the male is, but the female is always in standing behind the male, keeping him up.
Right. So what is the Greek saying? It was the man might be the head of the household, but the woman is the neck, and she can turn the head in whatever direction she wants.
Exactly.
You know, so it's like she knows what to do. She knows that he doesn't.
Exactly.
You know, so if she wants him to step up, she's gonna have to teach him.
Yes.
And that's just the way it goes. And it takes time, but in the long run, it'll inevitably help you.
Oh God, it will. Yeah.
This bothers me because this is men asking for a list so that they can actually, or just some tips to say, we do want to help you.
Yes.
And then I think she already made the point. It's like, well, if you wanted to do it, it would already be done.
Yeah, she did. It was up her one of the ones up there.
And that is not necessarily true. It's easy to think that, but
exactly.
I mean, you've got to make your intentions clear.
Yeah.
And you have to teach them.
Yes, you do.
God, give a little.
Household leader, provider, or you need a list. Otherwise, it's your wife that's all of those things. Because what you're trying to get her to do is thing that like a CEO does. You're trying to get her to delegate tasks to those below her. Right then and there, you are admitting that you are not a partner, you're not a co-CEO or anything like that. You are an employee that needs to be managed. She employs you. And even if most of y'all can like swallow your pride and even agree to that and be like, okay, fine, she employs me, just give me a list. Most of y'all wouldn't even like pass the first round of interviews in order to even be given a list. Most of y'all couldn't even handle this. You can't even handle being managed.
And how does she know?
I know. If
Has she dealt with most of the men?
I have to say that, in my opinion, writing a list for y'all doesn't work anyway. Because it's like, I write it down, and I'm like, where's your list? Later on in the day, oh, I lost it. Whether it's him or
if it's on a blackboard somewhere that is permanently fixed somewhere.
Exactly. And you take a look at it and say, oh, this needs to be done today.
Yes.
Then that's a totally different story. But yeah, the whole list thing to me, even for women, it's kind of redundant. But like I said, sometimes you need to make a list until you know what to do.
Exactly.
And like you said, being on a blackboard or a whiteboard or whatever, that's probably the better way to go.
Yes.
But it's like they don't even want to do that.
No.
And it's like
that would take 2 seconds out of their day.
Yeah. But the list thing is funny to me. It's like how many times I found crumbled, wet paper in your pocket, and I'm looking, that was the list.
That was it, wasn't it?
And then I was like, did you check off the stuff on your list? Oh, I lost it.
Now it's right here.
Really? What's it? Receipts too.
Yep. Oh, I'm terrible with receipts.
Wad money and receipts.
Yep.
Managed completely from head to toe. This next line is a real joke. Like, this is the real joke. Give us list items weekly. We can take off your plate, and we love to help. One thing I consistently hear from women who do these things, like give men lists and like explainers and draw pictures for them on how to do all of these things, is that they still don't do it anyway. This was just another form of like weaponized incompetence, to be like, no, give me a list. That way I don't fuck anything up. You just don't even do it anyway. Somebody has to still ask you about every item on the list.
For a while.
And somebody has to go behind you and check your work on it. Like, again, most of y'all would not even be hired for the job. You are not the people that are qualified for this job.
It'd be like if I went to work with you to go to Steve's.
Yeah.
You would have to sit there and tell me step by step how you guys do stuff.
Exactly.
Or write me a list of things that you need me to do that day. It's the same thing.
You have to get used to everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like for a while, that's just the way it's going to have to be.
Yes.
So it's like
he's
stepping into your workspace, into your job. So
yeah.
Like she's right. It'd be like you being employed and you have to be managed in that position. Doesn't mean everything. But in, the household chores or whatever.
Yeah, well, exactly.
That's your workspace. It would be no different if she went to work with her husband.
Everybody has to get acquainted and know what they're doing.
Right, exactly. That's it. So just listen to her for a little bit longer, then we can move on.
So therefore, you shouldn't even be part of a family unit. You're useless. If you need to be given a list, mind you, weekly. So these are probably like recurring items, and you need to be given that list weekly. Like, you are the worst, actually. Guys, ask her, what can I take off your plate today? Guys, I want to ask you, what's on your plate?
Yeah.
What's on your plate at all, other than going to work? Which, mind you, before y'all get too loud in the
a lot of this stuff is good advice. And
I think
yes,
so.
you might lose stuff or you might have something happen for a little while, but you are going to start getting it over time.
But even that, just a simple gesture of saying, "What can I take off your plate today?" That makes a big difference
Yes.
to people. I mean, and I try to do the same thing for you. It's like I wake up in the morning and say, "Well, how can I make your life easier?"
Yes.
Not harder. I'm not gonna say.
I say the same thing for you.
Yeah.
It's like, what we've been doing the last couple of days with getting you ready for birth,
Right. What can I do to make it easier? Okay, you looked around and you're like, okay, well, that's going to bother her, so I'm going to take care of it now.
Yes.
And
I've been cleaning like crazy.
And I've made it clear exactly the things that bother me.
Yeah.
One way or the other. It's like I don't continuously harp on it, but it's like that bugs me.
That's going to bother me. Okay, well, let's take care of it.
And I usually will give you a very detailed reason why, because it's like, well, it's not sanitary. It's like, there's a reason why. It's not just it just bugs me, But,
exactly.
Yeah, that's a really nice thing to say. I don't see anything wrong with that, Like, what can I do to make your life easier? What's wrong with that?
Exactly.
How can you find any fault in that?
You can't.
But they are.
Yeah, they will. Something's up.
Animal.
In the comments about providing, you would have to work if you lived alone. If you didn't have a wife, you would still have to work. And yes, so would she, but you need to realize that she is sacrificing a career, or God forbid she isn't sacrificing a career and she's working and you're still asking her to do this shit. Don't piss me off. She's sacrificing her career to probably stay home with your kids because she can't afford to have a career because daycare is so expensive in America. Therefore, she's actually doing a job because otherwise you would have to give the kids over to daycare workers. So your wife is a daycare worker for your kids and she has to keep all of this on her plate. What's on your plate? Because you wouldn't be worried about taking things off of her plate if your plate was also full. And again, y'all are not leaders. Y'all are not initiative takers.
I know.
Because if you were, you wouldn't be asking these fuck-ass, dumbass questions. What's on her plate, it sounds like, is everything things off her plate. That's the only way.
I think it's a different person. I think she's reacting to her reacts, I think.
Okay. But yeah, see, she's starting to cuss again. Starting to get all uppity. It's that same mentality. The same exact...
She's like, I would like to ask you, because she's like, what, the guy's asking me, let us know what we can take off your plate. And so she said, well, let me ask you fellows, what do you have on your plate besides just going to work and then coming home? Tell me, what do you have on your plate? I mean, as a guy.
Me?
Yeah, you.
I've got, I go to work if it's a work day. I'll come home, make sure that you guys have eaten, make sure you guys are good, especially if you're not doing well or something. I'll make sure all that's done. I got to deal with the animals, feeding them. Usually the food's made already by, you or Tristan.
Yeah, it's just been the past couple months.
Yeah.
But,
and I got to feed them. I got to make sure that all the animals are happy and alive and kicking.
Let's not forget about the bills.
The bills.
You're always
the grocery shopping.
The budgeting for going out and taking care of your town trips, So, I mean, that's just you, but I'm assuming that the average guy has a similar day-to-day sort of, strain.
I'm sure they do.
So she's not asking in earnest. She's just being a
pain in the butt.
Yeah, she's just like assuming that...
There's other words, but we'll just go with that one for the sake of their life.
And if he is just going to work, what does that work entail? How many things within his day does he have to manage and organize and be subjected to?
And
I mean, just in your work alone.
When it's like, and what is he working? Because if you're doing night shift, that's a beast all on its own. I've done it.
That's a totally different thing, yeah.
You're pretty much, it's really weird because you pretty much go to work, you come home in the morning, and you sleep most of the day, and then you eat in between.
Right.
And I mean, you're pretty much...
Yeah, it's strange. Yeah, when you work during the day, it seems like you have you have time to have hobbies and do things and stuff. But when you work at night, it screws you over.
Yeah, and then even on your days off, you're kind of stuck because of your sleep pattern.
Right. Yeah, you want to catch up on sleep, and then if you want to try to keep your sanity, then you keep the sleep pattern, so you're sleeping through the day and staying awake at night regardless, and missing out on all of that.
Yeah. Or if
daytime
on your day
activity.
off, if you're doing the opposite and you're going to where you're working, you're sleeping at night and working
And that's
or doing your
that's
stuff
really
during the
hard.
day, then that just it's a big adjustment for your body, especially depending on your age.
Yeah, you just really can't do it for that long.
No.
You know, it's like, yeah, I mean, the mental load alone for what men have to do with the job is it's hard. You know, I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
um,
And even if you have 3 days off, that first day doesn't count.
yeah, if we're working at night, right? Yeah, because you're catching
Yeah.
up on sleep and stuff, right? For sure. So yeah, that's for night shift workers. I get that. And like, okay, so if you're an oil field worker, landscaper, or a ranch hand, or something,
Yes.
you're outside in the elements doing stuff all day long.
Yes.
You know, that's hard. That's really, really hard. Doesn't mean that you're totally exempt from like not having to do stuff when you come home. I mean, you know.
No, and I mean a lot of people work those type of jobs and then they have kids to come home to, and they've still got to help out with stuff. I'm not one of these that's even remotely okay with the guys that, well, I work, that's my job, and then they go home and just relax.
Sit on their ass.
There's still stuff to do.
Right, because it is still part of your duties, your familial duties, and it's
Yes.
been like that for thousands of years as well. You know, but some of these guys, like the oil field workers, they're working 12, 16 hours a day.
Yeah. Oh God, they are. Yeah.
You know, that's really difficult, and I don't know. I'm speaking from people out here. I don't know about office workers and stuff. It might be a different story there, but I'm assuming since you have to deal with people and delegate and do all it might still have some sort of impact on you. But
well, I'm sure it would.
Like Matt Walsh says, he's like, you've got two ways of looking at things. It's like you get to either say, I get to come home to this family that loves me and look at how happy they are. I've made them. They're like loud and rambunctious. They're happy to see me. Or, oh my God, I'm dreading coming home because these kids are going to drive me nuts. My wife is going to nag me. It's all about like perspective.
It really is.
So, but she's just being really, she's assuming here, like what's on your plate? Nothing. You just go to work and do nothing.
Exactly.
No, not necessarily.
All right, then are we about done with this one?
Yeah, I'll circle back around a bit.
Okay, so we'll probably end it here because I'm already over the hour, and we've still got one more live to do tonight.
Okay, well, show one of the next ones so you can kind of see the same working archetype, the same boss bee archetype here.
Well, I figure we'll do this next week too, probably.
Probably, but I just kind of want to show.
Did you know that working mothers spend as much, if not more, time with their children than stay-at-home mothers in the 70s did?
It's only 3 minutes.
That's right. Working mothers today spend just as much time with their kids as stay-at-home mothers did in the 70s. Yet, they receive so much shame for working. When you tell people that you're a working mother and your children are in some form of daycare or they're with a nanny, people accuse you of not raising your children. They will say that you are an absent mother, that you've prioritized money over your children, you've put career over family. Yet, the data shows that working moms spend just as much time with their kids these days. And so why do we have this?
If I had red flags, they'd be out right now.
Yeah, no
That's
way.
a lie because you cannot. A stay-at-home mom is still like a 24-hour job.
Yeah.
Not even, a 12-hour.
Right.
It's a 24-hour job because you don't know
Yeah.
what's going to go on.
Right.
I mean, look at you. You had to deal with me crashing on a motorcycle while 2 kids were here.
Right. Exactly. It's not
You
even
know, I'm
my own.
bleeding. I'm bleeding like crazy, standing at the gate.
Mm-hmm. That's the difference. It's like, they're talking about like the toughness.
Yeah.
It's like they say that being a mother is the toughest job in the world. Maybe not laboriously, but we have to be like on and ready 24/7.
Yeah, you
for
do.
Like 20 years or more of our life.
You do.
So yeah, mentally it's tougher, I feel, but they're still not giving credit where credit's due to the men.
No.
For the work that they do.
Exactly.
And here she's another one. Same kind of tone, same wild hand gestures, and trying to justify why working women deserve more respect, I guess. I don't really know where she's going with this, but I can damn well attest, and so can you, that working mothers do not spend more time with their children or just as much time.
No, they couldn't
no
because they would be worn out. A job in its own will wear you out. Dealing with the kids alone will wear you out. Those together, I mean, when is the mom going to sleep?
Your mother wasn't around?
My mother wasn't around. No, she was a working mom.
My mother wasn't around?
Nope.
I wanted nothing more than her to be around in my life more, even if it meant having less stuff.
Exactly.
You know, she would promise me that we would go for a horseback ride and then choose to go to work instead, or say that she had a headache because she did work and not go with me.
Yes.
And that stuck with me more than her saying, well, I can't buy you this thing. You know?
I know. I remember. I've heard these stories quite a bit.
I know good and damn well that working mothers do not spend as much time with their children.
Yeah.
There's no way. Go ahead.
Narrative. What's so interesting, though, is the narrative we have for fathers, specifically working fathers. I had a comment on one of my LinkedIn posts last week where I said it's actually very difficult for women to re-enter the workforce after leaving for years to care for their children. And this person said, this model still works very well for families if one parent is a high earner and works long hours in business and or works away from home. Better to have one parent at home or working part-time / job sharing if possible to support the family and run the home. My husband worked long hours as a self-employed partner and played golf at the weekends, but was never a disconnected father. Interesting. Somehow a mother who works 40 hours a week and then spends all of her other time with her children is a bad, disconnected mother, but a father who does it, nope, that is still a good dad. That is an involved dad. That is the double standard when it comes to parenting. I just simply can't understand how we would look at a mother who goes to work every single day to provide for her family, who spends all of her evenings with her kids, her entire weekends with her kids, and say, you're not doing enough. You're not a good enough mom. You've abandoned your children for somebody else to raise them. Yet a dad who travels for work, works full time, and spends his weekends golfing is still a connected, involved parent. Like that doesn't compute for me. That does not make sense. When my husband works long hours, because he does, sometimes he works.
Okay.
Married?
How though? Okay, a husband that works and then still goes golfing. The golfing is a relaxing thing. Relaxing, it might make them in a better state of mind, and it probably makes them a better father in the long run. But when a mother works and then comes and deals with the kids, that's stress. It's a double stress.
You have to make time
to
be down, in between those moments and stuff. And I just can't see doing it. I can't see going out, immersing myself in worldly things.
Exactly.
And then, it's just different. It's just different the way that it hits us,
Yeah.
And it's different for the kids the way, like I said, biologically, we're designed to kind of not really miss the physical absence of our fathers, because they've historically been the ones that work and aren't present.
Yes.
So it does affect the children differently, and it does affect the women differently.
It does.
I don't know what else to say about it, but it's there's so many anecdotal case stories just with people that we know.
Yes.
Children of divorce,
Oh my God, divorce. Yeah, divorce is a whole nother beast.
Yeah. That's something that is not even in a religious vocabulary.
No.
It's there's the word of death, but not divorce.
I would not even think of it.
No, even when we were separated for that 18 months, my mother, she pushed me to file for divorce. I had no interest in doing it. I was just going to let it lie.
Yeah.
Because it would stick you too. Because if you ever wanted to get remarried, you'd have to.
And I never would.
It's just one of those things. It just was not worth it.
Made for life.
Exactly. So,
No matter what.
He works 18-hour days for weeks on end. When he does that, people are like, wow, he's working so hard. What a good husband. What a good dad. He must be exhausted. And if I were to do the same thing, people would wonder, who's taking care of my kids? Don't they miss me? Don't I care about them? There's this distinct narrative that we have for what it looks like to be a And most moms these days are burnt out because in the majority of homes, we are dual income homes, which means both people are working, if not full-time, at least part-time. And they're doing that while doing the bulk of the childcare, while doing the bulk of the domestic labor. And so they're running around from kids' activities to volunteering at school to soccer on the weekends to their full-time job to doctor's appointments. And they are expected to do everything. And they're still told that they're not a good mom because they've chosen to have a career. Whereas men have gotten away without doing any of that work for such a long time. They are allowed to golf on the weekends and spend their entire days at work. If they have a job that takes them away 50% of the time, totally fine. Because in order to be a good dad, all you have to do is bring a paycheck. And that's just not the case anymore. We need to change that narrative. And I know a lot of men don't align with that either. They don't believe that to be true. They want to be involved dads. They want to be present and hands-on in their kids' lives. They want to be at soccer practice. But the thing is, this narrative, this is a sticky.
I have been more involved than most dads. I will make sure I am there. We have rented cars to make sure to make it to soccer games.
Right, exactly.
Just to make sure that we
volunteer
show.
in his school.
Yeah,
for their
I went
events and
on
stuff.
one of their bigger 8th grade trips with them because he wasn't going to get to go unless there was a chaperone there. So I said, that's cool. I'll pay. The awesome thing was him and I got our own hotel room.
I know, right?
While we were gone, so it worked out. He didn't have to share.
Personal chaperone, personal,
Yeah.
It's like,
and we had a blast.
yeah, to be a good and present father, it's like, okay, so maybe it's like 75% of it is material provision. And
Yes.
the rest of it is being present and, like when you can. And it doesn't have to be these giant chunks that like the women, I taught him like schooling and everything,
Yes.
It's like you still would come home and at least do one class. You try to do like either science or math with him,
Yep.
and you do it when you can. And it really, really adds up. So yeah,
Oh, it does.
I agree. Being a good father is being also present in your family life and building your family life.
Yes.
That's just the way that it goes. And for some reason, in the West, it's pretty much But they say that just being a good dad is bringing home a good paycheck. Well, that's what women have reduced men to.
Exactly.
Like even in the dating market.
Yeah.
It's like, what can you give me? What can you buy for me?
Yes.
So it's like we've if that's happened, then we've done it to ourselves.
For sure. Yes, I agree.
And she's another woman that is she's I didn't know she was married, but she's obviously a working mother or whatever. And you can tell in her voice that there's no relaxation. Every one of her videos has the same energy. Every single one. Nothing soft, nothing calm.
See, nothing feminine.
Nothing feminine. It's like, so you put them in the workforce and you leave them alone long enough and they become men.
Yeah, they do.
And they become chaotic men at that.
Yes.
She's almost done.
Yeah.
Narrative. People have a hard time letting go of this idea. And so we hold women to much higher expectations than we hold men when it comes to parenting.
There's that.
So yeah, we'll start off with some of her other ones next time. And then there's a pretty good case study at the end.
I have never seen a tip given.
What is this one about? This is about that same list. And
yeah.
Tyler here is coming out with some really great.
And what does it say on this list here?
Okay, tip for women. Most of us men really want to help but don't know how.
That's true.
Give us lists. This is the same exact one.
Yeah, this list is viral.
Yeah.
So when that first lady, remember you saw the arm?
Yeah.
This is her arm.
Okay.
So there's women comment. This went viral a couple months ago, and
okay,
it frosted me. I wanted to do it then, but it was too hot.
Too new.
So
I gotcha.
I haven't actually read it all, but
then give us list items weekly.
That's
We can blank plate,
and we love
to help.
That's right.
Guys, ask her, what can I take off your plate today?
Right.
The key is solid communication.
Absolutely.
We can't read minds.
Absolutely.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, we did. He said you guys tackled the hard one.
Yep. Thank you for stopping by, though, Sancho. Always love seeing you in. Still up to do a collab at any point. You just got to let me know, man.
But yeah, I don't see anything wrong with a single one of those things that's on this tip, because it's stuff that I've had to learn. It's like, if you want it done, explain it explain it again and tell, and it's
exactly.
And then if you just still don't get it, then just leave it alone and do it yourself. Okay, I got you.
No worries, man.
And you're doing a lot of good growth on your channel. It's still looking really good.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, this list, I don't see anything wrong with it. And this is what I've never seen a tip given to women that missed the mark so much. Well, I think you just don't want to hear the truth.
Yeah, no, you don't want to. I mean, that's just it.
But like we said, wake up in the morning and just like look at your partner and think, what can I do to make their life easier?
Yes, just try. I mean, even if you're just putting in small little bits here and there, that's what matters.
And when you first come home, like when it's for me as a woman, is like when you first come home, it's how was your day? How are you doing? Those words go so far.
And for the guys too, try to do that also. Try to go, be to your wife, to your kids. How was your day? Right. It's really hard because half the time you'll want to talk about something that happened or whatnot, but just try to be there for them too.
It's funny how when you start like competing in that way, like who can like dish out the most good stuff, it like how much better it is instead of competing with who did more, who did what.
Exactly.
And nitpicking that way when you try to beat each other to the punch, like in good things, it just builds your family.
It does.
So it's like, I don't know. A lot of the advice that I have to give to women, they say is really outdated and
it's not.
But I'm like, I like to think of it as timeless.
Yeah.
Because
it's what's needed right now. It needs to come back.
Yeah. So just
because people think that it's outdated, but it's new age. It needs to come back.
I mean, honest to God, it's just really those two things. Wake up in the morning and say, how can I make your life easier? And when it's later in the day, just say, how are you doing? How are you feeling? How was your day? It's like just implementing those two principles changes so much.
Oh, it does. That's for damn sure.
It's, I don't know, but.
And it's like it goes both ways with try to like guys try to give your women like lunch like once a week. Yeah. Make them something.
Yeah. Like
rub their shoulders, do something more meaningful. Girls do the same thing.
Right.
If you don't do it at all, start once a week.
Well, I hear that like from what I've seen, like with psychological studies, like men's reward centers is in like physical touch and praise, and for women, like our reward centers comes from like when you guys do stuff for us, or perhaps give you gifts. But I think mostly it's like when you do service and you see like when you've been cleaning extra stuff, it goes like a really far away. So,
it does.
And so then just like cuddling with you and watching TV and just being intimate in that way is like
the reward.
Yeah. Right, so it's like that's just what I've read and what I've observed. It just seems to kind of be true.
It is. I mean, from what I've seen too.
But I still try to do like service for you as well. If there's something that I can handle to take off your plate that you don't have to do later, then I'll do it. Provided that you're not going to yell at me for it.
Exactly. What are you doing? You're not supposed to.
But just like be excellent to each other. Like just try to
be excellent.
Build each other up. Don't like compete with everything. It's not a competition. We're in this
exactly. Together. Help each other out. Just be there for each other.
Even if you're in a bad mood. I mean, I see so many petty TikToks where women will be like, it's like, oh, when I make my man dinner after we have a fight, and she gives him like this stingy ass like dinner, or she does something horrible to it. It's like, I have been flaming mad at you, and I will still make up dinner and serve it. And because being hungry and malnourished isn't going to help anybody's mood.
It's not.
I think it's just really petty when they do that kind of stuff. So.
And not Tom Petty.
It's like, no, I'm gonna make sure that you're well fed, and then I can hold that over your head later too. So.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Again, Sancho, thank you for coming and stopping by. Love seeing you. Chatty Charlie, I hope you're doing good out there.
Yep.
Namaste, everybody.
Have a good night.
And have a great night, great weekend, and we will see you again on Wednesday.
All right. Good job.